Hey, Shalom Akim. This is Abaya Allah here, the surrogate of Yahawashi / Paradigms. We leave all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Greatmillstone, taught me this truth with well. Peace and salutations unto the shepherds that feed the sheep of the Heavenly Father Yahawah and His only begotten Son, who the Word, even what we call Jesus Christ, whose real name in the Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, is Yahawashi, which means He delivers. He to deliver. He's coming to deliver the predestined election of the nation of Israel, which consists of the 12 tribes, the so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitians, Hispanic, Latinos, Native Seminole Indians, and those who descend from those 12 that are scattered in every nation under heaven, who have mixed complexions, mixed features, speak different tongues, or even closely resemble that of another race or nation, but their spirit and bloodline goes back to those 12 tribes. So to you sincere men and women, Akim, which means men in the Hebrew, and Akwathium, which are women in the Hebrew, this video is for you. And to you, brothers out there pushing this truth, to you, I say Shalom. This is a real quick video. This is not going to be a long video, but breaking news. All right, I'm going to read this here from the brother was formerly with Greatmillstone here in New York, which is still teaching the truth out there in Alabama. All right, but I'll read this here. This is from Brennan Schlagbaum's CPA. All right, he uploaded this as a short. All right, it's a story, and it says second largest bank in U.S. history just happened today. The second largest bank run in U.S. history. It's lucky for my voice. I took some new herbs, I should say. I'm having a kind of reaction to it. It's Salakia. But anyway, it says the second largest bank run in U.S. history just happened today. Okay, Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, had $42 billion in withdrawals in under 24 hours. This is what it means for you and your financial future, right? Because the first, largest bank run was in 2008, which caused a recession. Okay, so this is breaking news. Okay, you had billionaires or top stockholders trying to take their money out of the bank here in Middle Manhattan, in Midtown, and come to find out, they found out what happened, and the police were called on top investors. Okay, they couldn't get their money out of the bank. And what you have to understand, Silicon Valley is connected to a whole host of other businesses, especially when it comes to the technocratic world or technological world. Okay, and it makes sense because the IRS, remember, they were supposed to hire 87,000 agents to come crack down on those who are living rent free, not moving out of their houses when they're really supposed to be evicted, uh, for back payments and rent and a whole host of other bills, and also for the PPP loans or the PPP loan scandal. Okay, they pretty much let all of those 87,000 go. Why? Because they're moving in with their new system, which we've been telling you. Okay, and we're counting down into June, where the U.S. debt, they're supposed to default on their debt. Okay, so these moves are being made. So this is big news. All right, and it happened March 10th. Just to let you know. Now this is Bill Ackman. Okay, I think he's one of them top billionaire lenders, if I'm not mistaken, or investors. All right, this is from GMS Fatal Most High 7 Bar over there in the UK. Again, this is Bill Ackman says there will be bank runs everywhere on Monday unless the FDIC does a system-wide guarantee. FDIC only has $124.5 billion on its balance sheet and a $100 billion line of credit. Okay, it says the U.S. banking system is 22 trillion. It says the FDIC assets. Now here's the thing: only covers 1.26%. All right, I should have took another picture of that. But let me continue on. It says why Silicon Valley Bank's crisis is rattling America's biggest banks. This is from, as you see, GMS Awakening 144. One of the the heads of the New York camp. All right, I'm on Gabar, and it says the struggles of SVB Financial are spooking investors across the banking world. It says highlighting the new risks posed by rising interest rates. So we're getting ready to see prices skyrocket as well, all right, because of this. So I give for that. See if there's anything else. I believe that's it. That's all I had. There's gonna be videos, posted after I close it out after I read the scripture, and so you can be edified. Show you what time we're in. We did say that after the Passover, or at least during the end of it, that things gonna really start happening. Okay, and it has. This is one of them. This is not some minute thing that just took place. All right, this is big news because it's the same event that took place in 2008 just happened 2 days ago. Okay, so what is that telling you? That something worse is getting ready to happen. Okay, that's the second largest. Okay, they're getting ready to crash the system. Okay, let me see. Might read a little bit of this, and I'm gonna get a scripture and close it out. And it's just a lock it for my voice. This is dailybeast.com, and there's a whole host of other articles that goes into it. It says cops called after freaked clients show up to Silicon Valley's banks NYC office. Okay. Says police responded to Silicon Valley Bank's SVB New York offices on Friday as panicked clients demand their money amid the institution's shocking implosion. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation seized 209 billion gone in assets just a few hours later, ordering the bank closed and taking control of its 175.4 billion in deposits. The massive meltdown marks the biggest bank failure since the 2008 financial crisis. Okay. Now you can read the rest of this. Like I said, there's a whole host of articles on it. I just want to keep you informed out there. Okay, of the CBDC, which is going to institute the RFID, which is the MARK, the MOTB. Okay, if you understand Book of Revelations, that's next. Okay, and they're bringing it on. All right, so we get the script right here, and I'm gonna close it out. All right, and I'll upload the videos right after I close it. Now, this is Ezekiel 7 and let me see, and 17. All right, it says, "All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water." Okay, signs of that all over the earth right now, all over the planet. All right, especially with what just happened with this SVB bank. Right, top investors lost millions and billions. Okay, couldn't get a check, couldn't go into their deposits, just like that. Okay, and it says they shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, mourning, sorrow, you know, and horror shall cover them. All right, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon their heads, a state of great mourning. Okay, it says they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. All right, this place is not upheld by a gold standard anymore. Okay, I think the only ones upholding, back to the way it used to be is the BRICS nations. Okay, but they getting ready to go, who they're already warring with in Ukraine, and now they getting ready to war in Taiwan. Okay, China has already threatened the United States. Again, there's a video out, uh, them pretty much proclaiming that they're ready to go to war with the United States. For Taiwan, okay, which is a gold mine for those who will lead the new world, because it would be what, a technocratic world ruled by what, AI, artificial intelligence and technology. Okay, I think it's if I'm not mistaken, it's either lithium, iridium, all of these precious stones or metals that's found underneath the earth. Silicon, Taiwan is the head as far as that's concerned. Okay, so it makes sense why this bank collapsed at this time. Because they're about to fight against China, and pretty much the new in the new Silicon Valley. Okay, which is Taiwan. Okay, so that's why Taiwan is so important. Okay, to these heathens. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. All right, all things, that they thought will work out, to uphold the system will begin to fail. And that goes back to Daniel's, in the book of Daniel, I think the second chapter, about the feet being part mire, iron and clay. All right, and that clay goes back to what? Debt. Okay, meaning some nations be strong, some nations be weak, but that clay over time will eventually break away. All right, and in the Hebrew it means abayat, debt. Okay, that will break away the tolls from that statue, and the whole statue will fall. Because remember, spearheaded by Babylon the Great, America, all of those, the spirit of those ancient kingdoms are upheld here and around the world. Okay, and it'll be ruled by Esau Edom. All right, the so-called white men today, as you know them as, or the banking elite, you know, their nation. Again, it says, they shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity, which means sin upon sin. It says, as for the beauty of his ornament, he is he is set he set it in he set it in majesty, but they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them, and I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey. Who those strangers? Those that you saw at the WEF, the Davos meetings. Okay, what was one of the terms that Carl Schwab said? Cotton Schwab. He said, "You will own nothing and be happy." Okay, if you're not part of that upper echelon of Esau, or even these heathens, you will own nothing and be happy. That's what all those dystopian movies are about. Okay, and that's the time we're in. They're trying to transfer into that world. Okay, and it doesn't matter how much money you have underneath them. Okay, and it says, "I will give it into the hands of the strangers for a prey," meaning they can use that, take your resources, so to bend your will unto them. All right, and you be begging them for a new way of life because they took the old one away. Okay, which will involve the MOTB. And it says, "And to the wicked of the earth for a spoil," which shows you that the wicked is in control of the earth right now. Okay, Job 9:24. It says, "And they shall pollute it." Okay, so I just wanted to read that real quick. The scriptures are evident. Okay, and we're in the final times of these last days, and I hope this video was edifying to the elect. Till next time, Shalom, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, Barakathum. Like I said, I'll watch the videos at the end, even if you want to skip this. I got the videos for you. So till next time, Shalom.
to get lines of credit, to fund payroll, things like that with companies. Because when you have a startup, everybody thinks the first thing they need is, hey, we need money. Well, that may not be the answer. You may need to have manufacturing. You may need to have a sales force. You may need to have, somebody that's going to fund purchase orders. Yep. Whatever. Silicon Valley Bank would be the one to write the checks for this. And this robotics company, to give you an idea, that doesn't have, that's the employees are not getting paid today. This is huge. This is the beginning of this, guys. But this is the beginning of the banking nightmare. But Silicon Valley Bank is such a huge company when it comes to innovation for medical, biotech, anything industrial, robotics, everything like this. I mean, AI, everything. It's huge.
So we're down here having a business meeting, working on something really exciting that we're going to bring to you guys in the future here, hopefully in the next year. But there's so much happening in the banking industry. I actually have a story that I want to cover around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock Pacific, because there's another bank run going on, but I have to still vet the information and get some more information about that. So it's not just this bank. And like Dan says, this is going to have massive implications, not only to the employees that aren't being paid, but what you have to understand is what's going on right now is they're trying to stop and contain this.
This is a contagion, guys. It's going to be a huge problem. And what you're going to see when it comes to banking is that, let's put it this way. Let's say that a startup has 4 or 5 different banks that they're relying on, lines of credit. You're going to see these other banks that are going to say, hey, wait a second, I know you got $318,000 left to your line of credit. We're going to cap it at the $18,000. You're going to see problems start to happen right now when it comes to banking. And again, one thing I'll warn you guys is go to the bank and get some cash out of the bank. Make sure, based on your lifestyle, that you have enough cash that you could live for 7 days, 10 days, long enough without having to rely on your debit card, your credit cards, or anything. Because there's going to be a point in time, like Greg Manarino says, where everything's going to shut off, and that's going to be the end of it. And you're going to have a serious banking crisis. This is the beginning of it. And man, oh man, I mean, we're watching history again, right before our eyes.
Yeah, so right now I'm looking at the Federal Reserve's overnight bank lending rate, and it's been, really creeping up over the last year or so because of the Federal Reserve fund rate raising, right? But what we're looking for is a spike in the overnight lending rate where that banks do not trust each other. Now, to explain really quick how the overnight lending works, and then we're going to get into the story about the FDIC. Banks have to, at the end of the day, do an account for how much money was brought in on deposits and how much went out in the form of various loans. They do this accounting, and then they have to hold to a certain standard that the Federal Reserve sets. They do change the needle every once in a while due to crisis times, and they have a certain reserve ratio requirement that they have to keep. So then an overnight lending rate, they go to other banks and borrow money, and then they pay them a specific rate of return. Right now, that has not spiked. I do expect that to happen because as we see more and more bank runs happening, the government now stepping in, you're going to see banks not trust each other, and it's a game of who's the weakest one in the room. We don't want to get caught
Absolutely.
with this.
But the other thing to think about, guys, is that this is not Fred's bank. This is not some little podunk bank. This is a player. This is an innovative player in Silicon Valley that is affecting, hundreds of, if not thousands of companies today are dramatically affected by this right now.
Totally.
And this is something that everybody needs to be aware of, because this is just the beginning of this thing, of the dominoes crashing, and this is it right now.
Yep. Now, we stopped our day-long business meeting to bring you guys breaking news, and I'm going to read over these announcements right now. If you guys like breaking news and people that are trying to get you information before it's hitting the mainstream, please hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, 517 people that hit the thumbs up button. Check this out. FDIC put out the SVB Bank closed by California regulator. Then we see the SVB Bank is first insured initial. Sorry, I'm totally getting.
No,
when you go live, this is how you mess up. SVB Bank is first insured institution to fail this year. I love how to use the word first. So,
but also, guys, once again, this is not some little tiny bank in Des Moines, Iowa. This is a player that affects everything when it comes to innovation, and it's not just medical, it's not just AI, it's EV cars, it's all this tech, it's all this innovation. These guys, I'm telling you, every JP Morgan event, every medical event, every biotech event, these guys were players at this. These guys were, you know, the kids you wanted to get money from because they were just, you know, the go-to bank right now.
Check this out. FDIC says FDIC creates a deposit insurance, National Bank of Santa Clara. FDIC named Federal Deposit Insurance, FDIC, as receiver. FDIC creates a deposit insurance, National Bank of Santa Clara. Right now, the FDIC is in panic mode, and I will tell you this. The FDIC does not have enough money to backstop all of the deposits in the banks. As a matter of fact, under Bill Clinton and the deregulation of banks, the FDIC started to really only insure certain specific bank accounts. Now that changes from time to time, and it's done very secretly. But if you were living through the 2008 Great Recession, I want to remind you of something that George Bush said. When the crisis was hitting fever pitch, he came out and he said, I want to ensure you that the government is going to back all deposits, because there was a massive run going on the banks. FDIC does not have enough money. They're not capitalized enough to take care of this. So you're literally watching FDIC putting out things saying, literally, we created a deposit insurance, National Bank of Santa Clara. They are trying their hardest to stop this contagion.
And then again, this is something that I'm sure your audience is as educated as mine, that you guys have understand this, that the banking system is now what they call fragmented banking. So you have, it used to be back in the day that they had to keep a large percentage of your deposit. You'd put your money in the bank, get your paycheck, and they had to maintain a huge chunk of that. That's gone down to where I think it's, you know, it's basically 1%. They don't have to keep your money in the bank right now. It's ridiculous. They can lend it out. And if you've noticed, in 2023, we're seeing more shenanigans where the banks are charging fees for every single thing that they can. And they, think about this. I've gotten, in the last week, I've gotten over a dozen people that have written me about their credit unions and their banks limiting their purchasing power with their debit card. I had a guy that had $300,000 in an account and they won't let him spend more than $500 a day. It's done. It's finished.
First off, guys, we're literally almost 800 thumbs up. Thank you so much for that. Check this out. All insured depositors will have full access to their insured deposits no later than Monday morning. So as of right now, people do not have access to their money in this bank. March 13th of 2023, the FDIC will pay uninsured depositors, think about what they just said, told you. You are not insured with your money in the bank. This is why it is so vital. When we do videos entitled them Get Your Money Out of the Bank, we're not talking about pulling all of your money out of the bank. You actually need money in banks right now to do business. We are both businessmen. We own multiple businesses. We do all kinds of things. Well, we can't do it with cash. We can't do it with gold and silver coins. There's a purpose for that, right? For dry powder, for investing in gold and silver against, you know, inflation, craziness, or a collapse, right? But you have to understand right now, what you do is you have multiple banks. I mean, I've got literally, I want to say 7 different banks and each of those banks have multiple different types of accounts. Some that are some that are insured, some that are not. But this is what they're saying right now. We are going to insure the uninsured depositors, that they will receive a receivership certificate for the remaining amount of their uninsured funds.
Hey guys, here's a coupon for your money. Here's a coupon.
Yeah.
Hey honey, don't worry, we're getting a coupon next week. Think about how insane that is.
As the FDIC sells the assets of Silicon Valley Bank, future dividend payments may be made to uninsured depositors.
Future dividend payments, guys. Think about this.
Yeah, this is so serious.
Hey, what side is your camera on this?
It's right here.
Okay,
right there.
Good,
hey,
good.
First off, I want to say thank you so much to Philippe for the super chat. Check
that's
this out.
solid.
Appreciate the channel. Why does the Fed have gold vaulted on the balance sheet for $42 per troy ounce and not the market rate? I got a great answer to this. This doesn't make sense. Okay, the reason why that's still on their balance sheet, the Federal Reserve literally loathes gold. I want you to understand that. When you're dealing with, first off, a company, a private bank that is not federal and has no reserves, it is combating the value and the perception of value in gold and silver, all right? They don't need to change the value of that. The government's done a really good job of coercing and hiding the facts about gold, reaching, well, for centuries, but really in earnest when the Federal Reserve came into being in the early 1900s. They don't want you to understand the value of gold, and they don't like it when gold goes up, so they manipulate the interest rate markets to bring gold down, to suppress it. But what we've seen in the last few years is gold is coming out of its box. It is unchained right now. I mean, and there still will be a sell-off in the paper price as the markets wane, because large institutions sell their insurance because of things right now. There are hedge funds that are literally hemorrhaging money that are attached to these financial institutions, and they don't have access to it. So what do? They sell their insurance, they sell their gold. But that's why the Federal Reserve does not like showing, they show the gold on their balance sheet, but they don't show it at the current price. Go ahead, jump in.
No, I just think that, guys, this is, we've been giving warnings for, you've been doing it for a year, I've been doing it for a year, and I just think that people need to understand that these financial institutions are their finances are precarious. They run some of these companies in a very, very horrible way, and they've made risky investments, and now it's coming down. It's done.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Denise, for the super chat. Let's do this. We are literally just crossed 1,000 thumbs up. Thank you so much, because this is what get this information out. Check this out. Silicon Valley Bank had 17 branches in California and Massachusetts. The main office and all branches of Silicon Valley Bank will reopen on Monday, March 13th. We're literally witnessing a mini bank holiday in America right now. Think about that.
Absolutely. But people don't get this. But think about this, guys. A lot of people, if they didn't have money for 3 days, they have a real problem this weekend.
Well, not only that, let's say you owe bills. Now you have to go to your creditors and go, hey, sorry, I can't pay you today. I was supposed to pay my bill at last minute, and now I got to pay, but my online banking, it says even online banking is frozen right now, right? This is why we've been telling people you have multiple banks. See, when the banking collapse happens, it's not going to be all the banks. The Federal Reserve will stop it at a certain point. They allowed Lehman Brothers to be the sacrificial
lamb.
Yeah.
Just done.
And they did that on purpose. They had to stop the bleeding somewhere, and then they bolstered the other banks, right? Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, all these other large institutions took the good parts of the banks. And you know where the crappy part went? And this is what really pisses me off. They bundled them up and they pushed those crappy assets onto the Fed balance sheet, and then slowly it gets pushed off into your pension fund. If people realized how much crap assets, like mortgage-backed securities, the really shitty ones, sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but the real crappy ones, where they loaned money to people with less than stellar credit, less than stellar job history and payment history, and they put that stuff in bundles, and they salt it over people's pension funds. You would be getting a much higher rate of return if you took just that away.
Okay, now let's take a step further. This bank was the cream of the crop, guys. This is the company that, if you've got a shady startup, you're not that, your innovation isn't that proven, you cannot get money from Silicon Valley Bank. They only dealt with the best. That's why when you look at like the top 40 startups in the country, I would venture to say half, if not 3/4, had funding from this company, from this bank.
Well, let's talk about that. As of December 31st, and guys, just I'm just throwing this challenge out. I want to see if we can get to 2,000 thumbs up. That would be awesome. As of December 31st, 2022, Silicon Valley Bank had approximately $209 billion in total assets and about $175 billion in total deposits. Now, again, we're talking about that reserve ratio. That's what these banks need to keep. They always need to keep. Now, that's high. Just that's a really high amount. That's really well capitalized.
But think about that. Things went south between that and the first week of March.
Yes.
I mean, it's just done, guys. Think about how quick this can go down.
Yes.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Look at this F1 5150 prepper. Thank you so much for the super chat. Give Bam Bam and Slick thumbs up. I am Bam Bam today. Just this is how I woke up this morning. That was the first time I even touched my hair. So I don't care about how I look in front of you guys. We just care about bringing you guys the real information.
No, but this is just breaking news, and
we're so pumped.
No, it's just. But you guys, you guys take the advice. Take the advice. Clean up your finances. Get yourself out of debt. But look at where you're at right now, and look at your relationship with your bank.
Look at this right here. Customers with accounts in excess of $250,000 should contact the FDIC toll-free.
Oh,
these are freaking out. But I want people to understand that little plaque that's at your bank, just so you know, that number has actually changed in the past. It used to be higher, then they lowered it. And people don't realize that. They need to read the plaque. Not all the accounts in that bank that the plaque is mounted to are insured by the FDIC. The last time I checked, the ones that were solid were savings accounts not tied to any other account. And that was the key. Now, that could have changed, but people need to understand that. Now, Do I have over 250? Yes, I do. But do I have it all in one bank? No, I don't.
You know what's
It's
funny, guys,
everywhere.
is I did, I think it was about it was definitely after the first of the year where I showed the FDIC has a website and has a basically kind of an online app where you can fill it out and they will tell you if your money's insured or not. And a lot of people did this and found out, oh wow, our money's not protected.
Yep.
So guys, this is just this is gonna, you don't want to panic. You just want to take care of yourself and make sure that you've made preparations.
Yep.
And again, what would you do if you didn't have money for 3 days? Some people would say, I couldn't care less. Then there's people that are going to be dramatically affected. What if it was 7 days? What if it was 10 days? In the last 6 months, we have seen internet outages, we've seen bank problems. Truist Bank had a problem. All these different banks in the South had days where they had 10 and 12 days without online banking. And it's a mess, guys.
And I'm going to bring another bank to you around 2 o'clock Pacific time today. I just got a little bit more vetting to do, and we've got to get back to work. But we wanted to stop and tell you about this. And thanks again. We're at almost 1,500 thumbs up. Thank you so much. Right now, out of the hedge, they throw out a tweet. At what time does JP Morgan offer to buy SIVB for $2? and this is what's really scary.
Oh my God, that could be the greatest.
Oh, Jamie Dimon's just sitting back going, excellent. He's like right now, he's like Mr. Burns, just like.
That blue blood, East Coast fat cat. I'm sick of Jamie Dimon.
Smithers, come tell me how much I should buy them
Exactly. Us peasants out there that have to deal with Jamie Dimon.
Mr. Diamond, why don't you buy it for $3? No, it'll be $2.
Who are you? Why are you speaking to me, sir?
Now listen, the reason why we can joke around about this kind of stuff, because this is very serious things. Like we just got off the phone with somebody, and let's highlight that again.
Okay.
Tell them again, because so many people jumped on.
This man, we promised we wouldn't give his name, but he is a subscriber of mine, and he works for a robotics company that has a relationship with their payroll is done through Silicon Valley Bank. And a couple hundred employees did not get their paychecks today, and they see this as being a huge problem. And this is going to be the first of many companies you're going to hear about this.
Yeah, and the reason why we want, and the thing is we've been warning people how to get ready. One easy step is to diversify your bank accounts. It's so easy. And I want you to understand too, people ask about